Munson will not be here today. He's at a family funeral, so that's the reason he won't be here. But I've got Tracy Beaver here to keep me out of trouble, so we'll be all right. You ready, Justin? Okay. We'll call this meeting the County Commissioner to order, and please join us for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good to see everybody today. We will begin our agenda with the approval of the minutes of our previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Okay, and I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, Jane. First up is representing the Soil and Water Conservation District, David Caldwell and Vince Pitstick.
My name is Dave Caldwell. I'm with the Fayette County Soil and Water Conservation District Board. And I'm just here to introduce Vince Pitstick. Vince is the conservationist for this county. If you knew Colt Van Addick, Colt was in that position for a long time. And Vince Colt took a different job, a supervisory job. And Vince, who had been a conservationist for Wayne County, is now here in Fayette County. And he is a resident of Fayette County too, so that's pretty nice. So Vince is the conservationist, and as part of one of the USDA programs, there's one that involves possibly some funding for repair of some roadway issues. And that's why we wanted to be on here right next to Jay when this is done. So Vince, tell us about it.
Thank you, Dave. Like I said, Vince Pitstick, District Conservationist with the Natural Resource Conservation Service here in Fayette County. And what the program is emergency watershed protection, and basically cost share to help repair roads that might be impacted by stream banks cutting or taking in. There's some stiff things that come with that program, one mainly being we have to tie the failure of the road to a specific storm. Once we do that, through documentation, we can get those things lined out. There's an application process, and then we can work with the county highway department to mainly the cost share that I can provide stops the issue from happening again. It doesn't actually build the road, but it will reinforce that stream bank or the road edge to where it should last for a very long time. Cost share is roughly 75% federal dollars and then 25% matched from the county. And that match can be done by trucks, equipment, manpower, and everything from closing the road off to equipment and getting the project done. So it's something that I thought about being in my part of the county. We had some pretty big storm events last spring, and quite possibly going to see those continue, that we might be able to offset some of the costs from our taxpayers and make things safer. So like I said, we don't actually repair the road, but anything that's causing an issue on the road, we can stop that and repair it. So.
Okay.
It's good news. Yeah.
And I guess looking for the blessing to work with the county highway department on any of these projects that may qualify, and kind of coming up with a plan to see if we can secure some dollars for that. So.
Okay. How close does a stream have to get to the road right away before we can interfere with its path?
That's a good question. And my guess is that it has to basically be within feet of the road, or the road's already failing. I've seen some projects like that go through where basically they had to shut the road down. Sometimes that funding can take time to receive, up to 12 months, but in that time they're also working on designs and figuring out a way to address the issue that we can support and say, if anybody wants to audit what we're spending this money on, we can prove that it's justifiable.
Jay, how many spots you reckon we've got might possibly?
I can think of 2 of them, but I bet there's more than that. I know 150 north out there on Shopping Flat. That took a good section of the road out last time we done it. And you got, down on Little Bear, how many times just took that thing out?
Right.
Vince, this has already been done in Dearborn County.
Yep. Dearborn County has, I think they've received almost $2 million in the last 12
Really?
months to repair a bunch of their roads because of the storms that they had last week. So, I don't know if you're familiar with the superintendent down there, but I got his name and number if we have questions when we're working through this process to make sure what we're doing is actually has a better shot at getting it.
Would this include the river, or is it just streams and?
Yeah,
Like
there
creeks.
has been some projects in Franklin County protect as a highway from
on
those issues.
Concerning the river? That's good.
Thank you.
Do we need to do anything to qualify?
Not at this point in time. I know there's an application, so basically we would get together, look at a site, determine whether or not it would meet the criteria. I would also get our area engineer involved and have his support along with our state engineer for the NRCS. And then we would work through that application together. If we have questions working through that, we can talk to Dearborn County, or I can talk to the state engineer and work through that and make sure we have it completed properly. And then with their support, hopefully we'll get receive funds.
Okay, so you would start out with our county highway superintendent and locating and identifying locations that might possibly qualify,
Yes, sir.
going from there. Jay, you stick real close to this guy.
It's got dollar signs on it.
And you get with Jay because we've got some places that really do need some work, that's for sure. And we never know, you know, in the next big 4-inch rain, we don't know if we're going to lose the road to some of these places or not.
Right.
Okay, well, that's good news.
Does this include like swales, like where you get off the road, you go down across the culvert?
Shallow
Yeah,
water
and then right, the
crossings.
creek comes through.
Possibly, those can be a little tricky with making sure that it's not being cut out from one side or the other.
Yeah.
Might be.
On this particular road, it washes out almost every big storm. And then
Okay.
Jay comes out with gravel and it washes out again. So,
Okay.
When it rains that much, ain't much you can do about it.
yeah, you
Right.
know what I'm talking about,
Water's gonna
Shawnee
do what it
Creek.
wants to do.
Yeah, you know, I'm talking about Shawnee Creek, right?
Yeah, and there, you know, also like log jam removal is something that we can do through that program. You know, because if logs are gonna build up in a spot, they can, you know, force that water in a different direction that we don't need it to go, but sometimes those removals are expensive, so
Would log jams under bridges qualify?
I believe so.
Okay, we got some business for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you wanna stay in touch with our county surveyor on that, because that's his area of expertise. Good.
Thank you.
Thank
Anything else?
Vince, I don't have anything else. Tracy, you?
Do you have business card or anything with you?
I have one business card with me, but I can bring more by.
We should.
Okay, well, thanks, Vince.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Highway Department, Jay Havlin. Jay, do you have anything?
I don't really have anything unless you've got some questions for me.
I don't right now. Okay. Our grant administrator, Joe Lisa Bates, is here with the Fayette County Transit Grant application.
Good afternoon. It's that time again. The 2024 transit grant application is due to NDOT on April 28th, which is why I'm here today. I'm here to ask your permission to go ahead and submit that application on behalf of Fayette County Transit. As you know, Fayette County is the actual applicant, and then Fayette County Transit is the subrecipient. What we're looking at this year, we will be requesting $269,909 in federal grant funds and a total of $94,637 in state PMFT matching funds. And locally, we'll be providing $175,277 as matching funds. Trying to look at everything is pretty much the same as last year's application. There was really no big changes. The indirect rate cost that we'll be requesting with this one is 10%. That'll offset some of the insurance costs for like director liability, things that it's really hard to separate out between the transit and the senior center just because it's the same person. Those kind of costs, that 10% will cover it. And that is pretty much it. This year we're not requesting any new vans because we're on back order for the 2 that we requested a year ago. And we're hoping to have those delivered late summer, early fall. So right now we're in pretty good shape as far as vans go. When we apply for 2025's round, we'll probably be requesting another 2 vans. So do you guys have any questions?
We're expecting delivery of the 2 vans we're on back order this summer sometime, right, Nisha?
I'm praying, summer.
Yeah. Yeah, we need them pretty bad.
Sooner the better.
Okay. Tracy, you want to let them apply?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we'll make that,
We really appreciate it.
yes. Make a motion to move forward with the transit grant for 2023.
Okay, we have a motion with Tracy, and I'll second the motion to approve the grant application, Fayette County Transit. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, James.
The only other thing I might mention is Fayette County had applied for $250,000 to Okra to provide small businesses grants for operating their employee costs, stuff like that. Has to be something that was impacted by COVID. We did receive that. We got the award yesterday on that. So if you're a small business, you've been impacted by COVID, and just need some additional operating costs to stay in business, then contact Dan Parker with Economic Development Group and he can help you out. Anything else?
Yeah.
I thought you had a question.
While you're here, we spoke earlier in the week about the federal Safe Roads and Streets
Yes.
grant opportunity. Do you see any promise in that?
There's a possibility that we might have a few projects that would qualify for that. I don't know about the one that you had mentioned. I had reached out to Butler Fairman and asked them to get with me and let us discuss that a little bit more in detail since they're more familiar with the project. As well as we would have to have like the action plan that we had talked about to see if that's something that they do or if they could recommend somebody. It may be something that we just have to put out a request for qualifications in order to pursue, but that would be our first step. But I did reach out to them. I have not heard back. He said he was going to do some talking to the people in his office and that he would get back with us.
Okay.
I didn't forget you.
All right. Well, we'll wait and see what they say.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe, Lisa. Community Corrections. Is Michelle here? Yeah, there you are.
I'm here to get your approval to submit grants for the Indiana Department of Corrections grants, which is for the Work Release Center, the Community Correction Supervision, the Intensive Jail Treatment, Probation Department, Drug Court, and the Prosecutor's Diversion programs. The advisory board approved the grants at noon in our meeting. Work release would be applying for $528,169, which is an increase from last year's award of $187,279. That increase, I'm asking for 3 additional employees, female facility officers, in anticipation of the Women's Center opening. Community corrections, last year we got $311,038, and that's the same amount that I'm asking for this year. Intensive jail treatment was $120,221 last year, and that's the same amount I'm asking for. Probation last year was $175,935, and this year they're asking for $322,988. That increase would be for 1 new probation officer, salary increase for the liaison officer of $3,000, additional salary funding for the new state minimums when they go into effect for probation officers. That's $12,250. That covers the 2 officers that the grant currently funds, and $1,000 in office supplies. Drug court is asking for $204,675, which is an increase of $79,650. That would include 1 new employee as a case manager at $66,937. That includes fringe, COLA for the program coordinator of $1,913. Contract services for the attorney of $5,000, gasoline of $3,500, and vehicle insurance of $2,300. Prosecutor is asking for $45,009. That's an increase of $256, which is for shortfall the last 2 years for PERF and FICA. So I need permission. The grants are due on the 28th, and they'll all need to be sent in, and I need permission from this board to send them in.
Okay, I can't remember, Michelle, when do you usually get your confirmation on your grants?
The timeline says they're shooting for July, but last year they were off probably about 45 days from their timeline, but they're hoping for July.
Okay. If you get fully funded, do you think 3 people for the women's facility will be enough?
It probably won't to run the whole facility, but I don't know if they'll fund any on it.
Yeah.
But I was trying to help alleviate some of that cost.
Yeah, that would help a lot if they'll fund that.
The advisory boards had to prioritize each of these as to what they wanted funded first. The first 6 were to maintain what we already got last year's awards. And then number 7, they prioritized the 3 new facility officers. So the board is asking the state to look at that, if they give us any additions, to look at that first. We're trying.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
It sure would be a blessing if they'll approve that. Tracy, you got anything?
No, I, being on the board, so I already We went through all this at noon, so I think it's good. I'll go ahead and make a motion for Michelle to go through the application process for the grant money.
Yeah, I'll second the motion to authorize the grant application for fiscal year 2024 for community corrections. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, James.
Do you want
Yeah.
to add the other entities on that? Corrections, probation, drug court, prosecutor.
Well, I was thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking all of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking inclusively, wasn't you?
Right, yeah.
Okay,
Because
Because
thank
you went
you.
through it all, so yes, we're including it all.
We've got, you need your, Michelle,
The
you need your
letter.
signed letter today.
It would help because we have to upload it into the actual application.
Okay, I'll sign them right now.
I need it too, so I can keep one, and you don't even have to give me one. Thank you.
Good luck.
Oh, yeah, I do have one more thing I just forgot. The board, the approval upon my retirement, the board recommends Steve Bills, who is now the assistant director, I believe he has 23 years on the department, to be my replacement as the new executive director upon my retirement. And it has to be approved by this board.
Okay. And once again, when is your retirement date?
August 1st.
August 1st.
But I'll be out a lot between pretty much June and July for my vacations. I'm gonna use my vacation days.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Steve Bills to replace Michelle Dudley as our Director for Community Corrections.
Okay, I'll second the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, forgot you.
He might have got mad if you'd have left without taking care of
I'm
that.
sure he would have.
Okay. I don't, no one's here from Extension, is there? I think Heather Caldwell was going to be here. And she was asking us to approve her purchase of a
Yes.
workstation desk down there. I think, what was it, $975, I think. We want to take care of that since she's on the
Yeah,
agenda here.
sure. I'll make a motion to approve the desk purchase for Heather Caldwell in the Extension office for the amount that she'd given.
Okay, I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For the prosecutor's office, Mr. Colin Judd is here.
So, I have an annual report for my prosecutor's diversion grant that needs approved by you guys. I brought some copies. I know you already have one, so that you guys need to have one too. Basically, it states the funding amount that I get, the amount of money I get for drug testing supplies, and also it details how many participants we have. Last year I had 12 complete, one failed to complete, and I have 49 that were still pending. The number of completions next year will probably be around the same, but I will have more failures. I've changed the way that I've been hand-holding some of the participants and getting their programs completed, and it really should be on their own initiative. I'm attempting to give their attorneys notice that they're not completing what's required of them, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. So last year was a pretty good year in terms of completions and a limited number of failures. But we have to get these annual reports approved by the commissioners and the council and submit them back to our overseers in state. So if I just need you guys to take a look at it. As long as it looks on the up and up to you guys to approve it.
Okay, so you need our approval on this short report.
Yes, there's not a lot to it.
Yeah, right. You got any questions on this, Tracy?
No, this also shared at the meeting that we were at noon, so if you don't have any questions, I'll just make a motion to move forward with this and approve Colin's report for the prosecutor's office.
Okay, and I'll second the motion. All in favor? Aye. 2 ayes. Okay, that approves your report. Now, is there another step to this you need us to take care of?
Not today.
Okay,
Yep. I take this to the council, they'll approve it, and we'll be submitting our applications by the end of the month. If I need anything else, I'll come back to you guys. But I think for right now, I'm good to go.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, Brandon Burgess is here for the drug court. Brandon?
Yes, sir.
Hello, echoing Colin here, I also have an annual report that I need to submit along with our grant application as part of our reporting process. The drug court did pretty well last year. We had average caseload. I run it by myself. I had about 22 people in the program that ran with me all year long. And we had, our grant for last year was about $125,000. We ended up spending all but about $1,400 of that. So we're doing pretty well as far as we're getting our money's worth out of it. We were able to bring in about $23,000 in project income to go towards, assisting the program further. From that, we only used about $6,000 of that, a little over that number, for actual expenses throughout the year. We had a little over 2,100 drug screens that were administered on my 22 program participants for the year. We had less than 30 of those come back as confirmed positive use. So we were at about 1% of the total screens conducted come back as positive use in the program. So numbers obviously are incredibly low compared to what the same group would do outside of the program. The use would be much higher than that. In addition, when you look at our numbers for how well we do, graduation retention rates and whatnot, we run about an 80% retention rate for participants in the program, which is incredibly high and very good, as well as our reduction for our, we watch program participants for about a 3-year period. After they get on program and get off program, we watch them for about 3 years, and our reduction in recidivism going back to other crimes is about 80%. So it's, for the money that it doesn't cost the county any money directly, it's all grant funded that runs the program. A reduction like that over an 18-month period of time in program, as well as a 3-year period outside of the program, pretty stellar. So the numbers are looking really good as far as how the program operates. So I didn't know if you guys had any questions. I have a report here that we can get copies of and disseminate to you guys if you'd like to look at it directly.
Okay, do you need our approval now to your report?
It would be the same thing, yes, I would need
Okay.
approval for.
All right. How do we get everyone else to reach your level of success?
I mean, the simple answer would be if you throw enough money at a problem, it will tend to solve itself. But that's obviously a huge block overall for the county. We just don't get enough money in towards these programs to grow them sufficiently to cover enough of the people we need them to.
Well, there's never enough money to go around and never will be.
Yeah.
So, do you have any more questions?
You want it?
All right, I'll move to approve this report from Brandon for drug court and the process for the application for the grant also.
Okay, I'll second the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Takes care of that. Anything else, sir?
That'll be it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. EMA Director Walling is here. Wade, do you have anything for
I
us
just have
today?
a quick report. I think you all should have my report. First, I just wanted to thank the Community Foundation for their $2,500 mini grant. That will provide a couple generators and body armor to keep in my truck. So that was a blessing to have that from them, so we appreciate it. And I just want to make sure that we said that publicly. Dale and I both went and received the check Saturday, April 5th, so we got our picture taken with it. So, and he made the picture a little prettier than it was just me, so.
I don't know about that.
So the other thing I wanted to let you all know is I have applied for the 2023 SHSP grant for national priority, and then I applied for the 2023 SHSP grant for what's considered a local enduring need. I did meet with each individual county council member separately and kind of got their blessings. I've not heard back from one of those people out of all 7 that I've talked to. He said he'd get back with me, and I'm sure he will in his time. But I had a April 25th deadline. I wanted to get the grant in early enough that if they had questions, they could reach out to me and we could correct anything that might need corrected. So both of those grants were pretty much maxing out at $150,000 for those. The Enduring Need grant, the second one I just spoke about, will be for a mobile incident command trailer that will be a charitable resource in the county and with the city. And the national priority grant will be public safety radios. They just, IPSC, the state, just approved the new 8,000 mile radios, which is a tri-band radio. So we'll be able to have all of the frequencies that we currently use in Fayette County in one radio. So that will negate the need for firefighters carrying 2 radios, things like that. So we applied for mobiles and portables. This time we're a little heavier on giving the Sheriff's Department mobile radios for his guys in the department to have a radio in their car. I think we applied for 6 of those for them, and then that will give the other departments a couple apiece, I believe. So, but those grants are submitted. They said that we would find out something whether they approve it or deny it, and we'll get a letter sometime between April and October.
Okay, now you have followed the standard procedure of running those grants through Joe Lisa's office.
Yeah, I've talked to Joe Lisa. We've communicated. I sent the grants to her. So.
Okay.
And did we also approve that before it got started, that process?
Yes,
Do
we had that.
You did do that?
Yeah, we had that communication. It's been a couple of months ago now.
Okay, so it's on record. I just want to make sure that we done right.
I don't think there's no like motion or vote on those, though. We
To
might have
apply?
discussed them. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think maybe these communications have been verbal and outside the regular meetings.
It is possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've probably talked, but it hasn't happened
Right,
probably in an
right.
actual meeting to get the ball rolling on it like it needs to be done.
Okay.
Because you have to do like what Michelle just did and what Joe just did.
Yeah, what
So,
you, the witness
Would you like
today.
to make a motion to approve me applying?
Well, I guess that would be, what you said is likely based on what you shared, we need to.
Okay, I remember when we talked about, you called me about the grant for the mobile command trailer.
Mm-hmm.
We talked on the phone about it.
Yes,
I
we
remember
did
that.
too.
We haven't
I
covered it.
was thinking we did, but I may be mistaken. I may be mistaken.
We did talk on the phone, but we didn't go through the process like just as we've just shared,
Okay.
like how you go through that process of we have to have it to go through the legal, you know, the way
Sure,
that things are
right.
supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So we'll go forward with, I'll make that motion to move forward then. Is that what we want to do with this?
Well, let's give these two grant applications a name.
Yeah,
So one's the national priority, and that's public safety radio grant.
the SHP grant?
The
is that-
SHSP, it's the
SP.
State Homeland Security
Okay.
Grant Program.
And then the second one was a,
Same thing, same
Okay.
name, the SHSP, but one's local enduring need.
local enduring.
Okay, I'm sorry. So the SHSP, what was the first one?
It's a national priority for public safety radio.
Okay, and SHSP for,
For local enduring need.
Yeah, it's just protocol
Sure.
before the grant application is done. You just basically get it approved and then you move forward. so.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Okay, you
so,
want to make a motion?
all right, make a motion for both of the HSSP grants. One was for the national priority and then the other one for safety, radios. And then the second one is for the local enduring need. Is that
Yes.
correct?
And that's for the mobile incident command trailer.
Okay, that trailer, that's right.
Okay. I'll second the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, Jane. Wade, this may sound a little bit too formal or silly.
No, it's perfectly
But
fine.
sometimes we have to document
Yeah, absolutely.
that we've followed every.
No, I get it, so I'm glad you guys corrected that. And I appreciate yours following through with it. And then finally, on my report, I want to let you all know that I'm working on MOUs with surrounding counties to share public radio frequencies. That way, when we have an emergency that is bigger than just Fayette County, that all of our EMA and different counties can communicate with each other, and our fire departments can communicate with other fire departments that they may be working with, whether it's Henry, Wayne, Rush, Franklin, Union counties. So we'll have an MOU in place with those. That way, there's an agreement between both counties, all surrounding counties, that we can communicate and have that interoperability. And then lastly, I'm going to the county council and asked Jane to put me on the agenda for several different items. One is an additional appropriation to purchase the right equipment for the siren installation to make that work with our 911 dispatch so that they can set that siren off. It requires a special box. That company that the siren came from is giving us a discount if I send, like $500 discount, if I send the old box back, which is definitely going to happen because it doesn't do us any good to have a siren in place if somebody has to leave their home and go up and turn it on and then wait the storm out and turn it off. So it needs to be able to be operated through radio frequencies. So I'm going to request additional appropriations for that through the council. I'm also requesting an additional $10,257 to replace broken radios that we have in the EMA department that do not work. I can't communicate with the state with them. I've asked several different vendors if they could be fixed. I've even tried to get vendors to give me old codes so we can get them working. And they're like, the state no longer supports these radios, so even if we want them to work, the state's not going to let us put user IDs or state talk groups into it. So it does us no good to have those. They're basically paperweights that have to be destroyed. We can't sell them. They have to be destroyed.
Now, how many of those do you need?
So I actually need 2 mobile radios and 2 portable radios for that. So that's going to be one of my additional appropriation requests to the county council.
On your first request for additional appropriation, did you give us an amount on that? That first one you mentioned that you were asking?
$1,205.
$1,205.
Sorry, for the Seratol siren control.
Yes, that's right.
And then finally, my last request for the county council, I'm going to ask for $2,000.
Why did you actually ask for 2,000? That's what we advertised, not 12,500. Your paperwork's for 2,000 for that siren.
No, oh, was it for 2,000? I'm sorry.
That's what you submitted.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 12,500. I put the wrong information down.
Okay.
2,000 then. But the quote I had is for 12,500, so I may have made another mistake sending it to you. Anyway, finally, that last request is 2,000. I want to move that from the vehicle line. Working with Terry, we found that I can't pay for some things out of other line items in my budget that I thought we could, like the miscellaneous line item. It's, according to what she's told me, it's for services. So I can't really pay for the equipment that I need to for my truck out of the services line item. So I'm just going to ask that they take 2,000 out of that vehicle fund and put it into a special line item, a new created line item for paying for that. Got enough?
Oh, that's enough.
So maybe you got your 2,000.
Yeah, I think I may have, yeah, I'm gonna have to look now.
Yeah,
And that's making me think I need to go take a second look.
yeah.
I know you had one was a transfer, not an additional.
Right.
For the
Yeah, that last one I
in the
spoke
auto.
was with transfer.
The last was a transfer,
Right.
okay.
But I advertised 2,000 for the other supplies on the thing, so
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, but you had something else added in there, like not just the box.
Oh, it probably is, it was the, yeah, it was actually it's a plastic doghouse to put the repeater components in. So, for our county repeaters, so maybe that's.
So I think that's why you bumped it up
Right.
from the 12,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It needs a protected house to set that equipment in so it doesn't get rained on or destroyed.
Yeah.
You're right. I remember now. Any other questions?
Thanks, Wade.
Thanks.
Okay, here for probation is Ryan Siggers. Ryan, do you have anything today?
No, sir, I was just here to make sure everything with our grants went through.
Okay. Sheriff Jones, do you have anything today?
Yeah, I got a couple things. Make it quick. Finally came up with a food vendor for our jail. The jail report that I gave you, when I asked the secretary for the numbers, I think she thought I was asking for the budget numbers, but I guess Joey had asked for an additional last year, so the jail report was a little wrong. We spent $255,000 in food last year. So I went out and started getting some quotes, and it ranged from, the high was 426 for the year. The company we're with now shot me a quote of $316,000 because the price of food continues to go up. So that was their quote. And then Canteen, they offered a quote of $288,000. That's $1.90 a meal. And once we get out of our commissary contract, they'll decrease the cost per meal by a nickel. So I'm going to go with them for our commissary contract also, just because it is going to provide savings to the county. So starting next year, our food budget will be $281,000. So that I was going to sign with Canteen just because out of the 6 vendors I talked to, they were by far the cheapest, and they gave a pretty good presentation also. Any questions about that?
Well, that is quite an increase.
That pays for all the kitchens. The Canteen will pay for the kitchen staff, just like Tiger has. They pay for everything, so we're not paying for any staffing in the kitchen. All we have to pay for, if something breaks, we have to repair it. But they pay for all staffing. Our inmate workers help out in there, and then that pays for all the food, pretty much everything.
And did you say this is a savings from?
Well, last year it was $255,000, but the Tiger had sent me an increase in
Oh,
January,
that's what it was, right.
saying that, hey, going to increase prices by about, I think it was 20-some cents. And they were supposed to do that in August. I refused to sign it, and they weren't happy with it, but we're still paying the low rate right now, which it's still about $1, I think it was like $1.85 or $1.86 a meal. So again, we have been budgeted for $1.85. That was what Tiger shot us, what was it, 2.5 years ago? When Joey was sheriff, they said, hey, $185,000 will cover everything. Since then, I mean, I go to the grocery store and
Yes.
I used to spend $150, now I'm spending $300, so everything's going up. But like I said, last year it looked like we spent about $255, and that's based off of, the 280 is based off of if we continue to have 138 average daily population. The more inmates we have, the cheaper the meals are. The less inmates we have, the higher the meals are. But they were considerably cheaper than Tiger, which is what we have now, and every other vendor that I talk to. So this is probably going to be our best bet. Especially once we get the commissary, that's going to knock it down about another $9,000.
Okay, when does this change need to be made?
They said they can change, what was it, June 1st, I think is the date that they're going to change. I've already told Tiger that we can't continue to pay these high prices, and we're not real happy with the service that they're providing. They're doing some stuff that just doesn't make sense. So Canteen will start, barring any disagreements, I guess, June 1st.
Okay, when will you have a contract for us to approve?
They emailed me one, I got it sent in my office.
Okay. All right. Keep that in mind, Vivian, come budget hearings.
Yeah.
Did you taste their food? That's what I was over here saying.
No, we really don't care what it tastes like too much.
Okay.
They're gonna give them the appropriate calories that they need. They have a dietitian, so.
Yeah, they'll do, they have to have that by
Yeah,
law.
the food that they have now it's decent, and Canteen says that their food is, they claim it's better, but again, they're getting decent meals for $1, it's gonna end up being about $1.86 a meal.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
Yeah, so we'll basically at your neck, maybe whenever you bring the contract in, so we'll do the official, right?
Yeah. I can read it,
Official.
so you guys can review it.
Okay.
Again, I know it's an increase, but if we stay with Tiger, we're looking at about $316,000. So
So there's still
it's,
quite a bit of
yeah,
savings.
it's an increase, but it's a savings, which
Yes.
doesn't make sense to me. But hey. Then the second thing, with the COPS grant, Joey held off on hiring somebody else. So we have a position that is grant funded, which is has a very small cost to the county. The federal government pays for most of the salary. I've put it out there to a bunch of different people that, hey, won't you come work for us at the city police and other agencies, and somebody finally bid on it, and the merit board approved hiring Robbie Fee at the sheriff's department as the grant appointed deputy. Robbie's been with the city police for, Lord, 25, 26 years, something like that. He's a fantastic officer. We've got a lot of young guys, and he's going to be a big asset for us. So to get somebody like Robbie for a reduced price is going to be a good thing. Mr. Wesling wrote up a contract because Robbie he knows that this is a grant-funded position. So I had Robbie sign a contract that says he will stay with us for 4 years, and then he's going to be done. And he has signed the contract, and he agrees to all the terms. So we get a really, really good experienced police officer for 4 years to help train our new guys at a reduced cost. So I guess I'm asking for approval for that also.
Okay, you want to share that contract between you and Robbie?
Yeah, this is, it's the only copy, so don't lose it.
Okay, do I remember right that in the fourth year of this grant, the county is responsible for the entire cost of the
Yes,
building?
the government pays for the 3 years, and then the county is responsible for the 4th year, and then if we want to keep him, we're responsible for it after that, but, yeah, the 4th year, the county's responsible for his salary. And that's the same with the other guy that we have, Jake Lunsford is the other grant-appointed position. So over the 4 years, you're looking at less than $100,000 for these officers, which is considerably a lot more if we had to pay them the entire salary.
As soon as Tracy's done there, I'd like our attorney to see this contract and take a look at it and tell us.
I drafted it.
Yeah, he's the one who
You
wrote it.
drafted it?
Yes.
I drafted it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope he doesn't have any questions about
I
it.
drafted it. The main purpose of this, Dale, if you would, the main purpose to me from your guys' guidance at previous meetings was to make sure that this officer knew that it was not something we'd have to terminate him after 4 years, that it actually expired once the grant expired.
Okay. Sounds like a rigged game, doesn't it? I didn't know you were that far ahead of me on this. Okay.
Apologize, I probably should have ran through you and let you review it first, but, I mean, we had a lot of discussions about what the purpose of it was going to be. And the sheriff emailed me and asked me to draft one, and
Well, I'm glad you weren't left out.
very good.
That's because we have to rely on you. Okay.
So I guess we'll move to approve the contract here for the COPS grant. Work with, how do I word on this?
Well, so we'll have to approve the contract
Robbie
with Robbie Fee and
Sheriff's Department.
do we, in so doing, we're at the same time authorizing to fill the second position on the COPS grant program, so,
Right.
okay.
So I agree with
Yeah.
what you said. You,
Give us a motion to approve the
I motion to
contract.
approve the contract,
Okay.
as you stated.
All right, I'll second the motion. We have a motion by Tracy, second by me to approve the contract with Officer Fee for a 4-year period under the COPS grant program. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, Jane. And make sure we have a copy of that over here, okay?
Yep. Any questions?
I got nothing else for you. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. County Surveyor, Bill Mackey, do you have anything? County Attorney, do you have anything?
I do not. I did, hey,
We found
I
you
did
out, didn't we?
draft a contract for the sheriff.
Okay, now you tell us. Okay, well, I'm glad you done that. Okay. Council Representative, do you have anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have any mail you need to share?
No?
Under old business, we still have the jail air handling units project on our agenda, but since we haven't heard anything back from North Mechanical or Gordian, either one, so there's nothing we can add to that. Under new business, we have a proposed agreement between the county and Barnes and Thornburg. Is that in your stack here, Jenny? Okay. Jeff, have you reviewed this?
I have, Judge. I have Dale, I have no issues with it.
Okay.
Creature of habit, apparently.
This is an agreement between Barnes and Thornburg and the county, and they are to represent the county's interest in the solar farm project that is mainly in Rush County, but it's going to be partially in Fayette
About an
County.
80% project in Rush, 20% Fayette. They applied, they've applied, should be heard sometime in May or June.
Okay. And that final decision will be made with authorities in Rush County, right?
When I say they've applied for the Rush County portion. They'd obviously have to apply in Fayette County, which they've not done yet.
Okay. Well, when Rick Hall was here to
Yeah, right.
talk to us about all that, this is the end result.
So what we're doing today is making a decision to enter into, to retain the Barnes and Thornburg for the solar project. So I'll make a motion that we do that.
Okay, I'll second the motion to approve the contractual agreement between Fayette County and Barnes and Thornburg. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, Jane. Okay.
Robin?
I'll skip on down to the SRI tax sale services supported amendment. Okay. They are increasing their parcel fee from $100 to $125, if I read right, yeah. So,
And that cost is covered by the delinquent taxpayers,
yeah,
like it's added.
yeah. It doesn't cost the county anymore, but it's gonna cost the,
Delinquent taxpayer,
right,
$25 more, $125? Okay.
yeah.
All right. So we'll make a motion to approve that addendum, the SRI tax sales service for the $125.
Yeah, I'll second the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, Jane, takes care of that. Now, Robbie, you're back. I got down to you and you disappeared. Robbie Wilson is here representing Wilson, Lawson and Myers. Robbie, sorry you had to wait so long, but good to see you.
Brought Chris Blitzen with me. She's from our office as well. She's the account executive for the county's insurance. So we just wanted to come down and let y'all know that everything's still moving along as usual at the office. Brad was the person you dealt with in the past. I'll be handling it now with Chris. Chris has been handling it for the past 20-some years. So we have got the applications out to market for the county's program. Going to have a couple different companies look at it to make sure we're getting the best price, best coverage. We also did speak with the current carrier, and they're willing to look at the law liability again, so we're going to get that to them and see if we can sharpen our pencil there and maybe help out there. So just want to let you guys know we're still here and everything's the same as normal, just an uglier face up here you're going to have to deal with.
Well, it's good to hear that everything's going to be stable at Wilson, Lawson and Myers, and the community needs to know these things.
That's all we have for you. We're going to have some questions. I think I'm going to meet with Zach Thursday, I believe, get some information, some new information so we can get the renewals. July 1 renewal date, so we'll be hopefully ahead of the game and have stuff before then.
Okay. All right.
Any questions for us?
Got anything for him, Tracy?
I don't think so.
I just want to say for the record and publicly, working with Chris, I've not really had a chance to work with you. I worked with your dad, but Chris is fantastic. Anytime I need anything insurance related, shoot her an email. She responds just like that. It always gives me what I need. Excellent advice. You're wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank
she's
you.
the boss.
Appreciate it.
She's the real boss. Yeah,
Thank
Chris has been 20-some years. I've been there for 25 plus years. Dad was always the one that handled most of it. We were kind of behind the scenes doing things. So.
I know how that is, Robbie. It's always easier to let somebody else stand up front, but, well, we're glad that you're doing what you are, and as far as I know, all the years we've done business with you, it's been pleasurable.
We'll try to do our best, so then we'll continue to do that. So
Okay.
we appreciate you guys.
Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any patron concerns today from anyone? Dan Parker's here. Dan, did you have anything?
Just a small, little matter. Jolisa mentioned the extension of the Phase 3 COVID grant. I just wanted to add a little bit to that. It's supplemental funding to Phase 3, and is to be used exclusively for grants to assist small businesses in retaining low to moderate income jobs. Eligible expenses include working capital, operations, and support remote work. Grant funds may not be used for capital improvement to buildings. So we were advised from our grant writer who's working with OKRA, that's Klein Peter and Associates, to start with the last recipients of Phase 3, which we have done. I think we've got 17 applications already to turn into the grant writer and then into OKRA. And we're under some really tight deadlines. Those have to be in no later than May 22nd, and they want all funds claimed no later than June 2nd. So it's really moving pretty fast, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to say something for the business community that might be watching this commissioner meeting. If they have questions, they can call our office at 765-827-1366. And we'll be able to answer any questions. I think it goes without saying, if your business was started after COVID, please don't bother applying. We're looking for companies that are still struggling, and there are some that are not back to the strength and vitality that they were before COVID started. So I wanted the business community to hear that. So there may be some opportunities for some businesses that during COVID that didn't apply that are still struggling. Some people are afraid of applying for grants. And we want them to not be fearful and call us and see if there is an opportunity for them to get funding. This will make $1 million worth of funding that has come into Fayette County because of COVID this last $250,000, which I think is fantastic.
Did you say 17 is what we previously had, and that you're
We got 17 so far. I think there were 37 applicants in the Phase 3, and this is an extension of Phase 3.
So
And
do you-
I think they're doing that to really expedite things, so there's not another public meeting and all those sort of things. They're just extending phase 3 so that we can distribute these funds quickly.
So does your department then, or they, like, you got 17, but there was 34, so do you contact them to
We
let
have
them know?
contacted all 37.
That's good.
I mean, conventional wisdom to tell you, if you were struggling then, you may be struggling now. So we went right back to the
Yeah.
last 37 that applied for
That's
funding.
good.
And we've got 17 applications already, so there's been a couple that do not want to reapply, which is fine. It's their prerogative. But at any rate, we appreciate the county going forward to go after this last round. I mean, it was certainly wasn't mandatory. The county could have easily said, no, we don't want to do it. And I appreciate you guys going after this money, because I think Connersville's businesses could certainly use it, or businesses in the county. In fact, the city, we've got one applicant already that we've reached out to that the city did around in phase 3. I don't know if it was available to them or not, but we're picking one of those up out in the industrial park. So we want to help everybody we can. It's on a first come, first served basis. So call our office if you have any thoughts of getting some of this grant money.
Okay.
I have a question. Can other departments apply for this grant, or is it strictly businesses?
Businesses.
Okay.
Fayette County businesses.
Yeah.
Right.
And we really don't know right now if we'll add to that 17 number or not.
I think we will, but I don't know for a fact.
So just for clarification, that would include home businesses that people may have?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
Yes. It does include home businesses. I think, you know, I think down to as small as 2, one of them has to be the owner of the business. So, thank you very much.
Thank
Unless you
you.
have any more questions, I appreciate your help.
Thanks for stopping in,
You
Ben.
bet.
Okay, all that leaves is claims and payroll.
All right, we'll make a motion to pay claims and payroll for approval.
I'll second the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We'll begin here.
Correction.
Oh, you got the corrected?
Yeah, I've got a correction.
Okay,
So,
all right, so wait.
real
a
quick,
second.
before you
Yes.
adjourn, I just
Yes.
wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page. So it appears that I sent you my draft copy of my report instead of my final copy. But to be clear, I'm going to the county council asking for $2,000 for the controller for the siren and return shipping. Is that right, Jane? Please correct me if I'm wrong. And then $10,257.82 for radios, programming, and the repeater installed out in western Fayette County, southwestern. And then transferring $2,586 from the vehicle line item into an equipment line item. Is that right, Jenny? Okay, I just want to make sure that we all had the same numbers, because I didn't want, once I started looking over this, I was like, I've got 2 figures on my second page that are wrong. So I wanted to make sure you knew exactly what we were talking about.
Yes,
So.
well, thank you for
You're
that
welcome.
clarification.
Here, I just-
Done.
Okay,
So we're ready to
We
make a
have-
motion to adjourn?
we have no further business.
No further business? I'll make the motion to
Okay,
adjourn.
I'll second the motion to adjourn. We're adjourned. Thank you all very much.